Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of the Leave Your Ego at the Door podcast. My name is Andrew, and as always, we're joined by
Lalo Rodriguez,
the South Florida's hottest ceramic coating and stand-up comedian.
self-proclaimed. Thanks, dude.
All right, so it was awesome to put out our first couple episodes. We haven't really shared too much of it. I feel like, the more we publish it and get these out there, that we'll kind of like promote it a little bit more. But
Yeah.
I like building the foundation.
Yeah.
Making the foundation thick.
I think where we're at, and you guys will understand this, we're talking to a crowd that we don't have yet. I feel like when we have this conversation, but we're taking our time with this. It's just, we're not, oftentimes you start a project, you get those rose-colored lenses. That's what they call it, right?
Yeah.
You're like, yeah, we're going to do this. And when we hit our first 50,000 followers, we're just taking it as it comes. We're creating the content. We're talking about real things that are very real and personal to us.
Yeah.
We're putting it on camera. It's getting edited, and it's going to come out when it's going to come out. And it's going to be the right time.
I think another important point on that is that everybody always has ideas about doing things, but they don't necessarily execute on it, right?
Yes.
So we had the idea, and we met like 5 times and did like 5 little, recording sessions before we were even like, okay, here's the show. This is the structure. These are the ideas. But then once we were like, okay, this is going to be our first published episode, the conversation and the tone changed. I don't know if you noticed that, but
we got to the point.
it's more tactical. Yeah.
Tactical,
So
which is
like,
nice.
don't be afraid to just start something, even if you don't know how you're going to like put it out there, whatever. So like we started recording, and we weren't thinking like, oh, well, how are we going to publish it? And we were just like, let's just get together and talk, And then last week we got the Gmail, got the Podbean set up, and that's another thing. Like if you guys need help, like setting up podcasts or whatever, we understand the process, and, we can help with that. So you could reach out if you have any questions, but now we have everything we need. So we just keep showing up and keep talking and providing value, and the rest will take care of itself.
Yeah. In one of my business coaching seminars that we do quarterly, not that I don't have a coaching seminar, but the one that I attend that's from the company that coaches me, they say this often, and it's not there coined by them, but it's like, if you fail to plan, you plan to fail.
Yeah.
And not that we're not planning, but isn't that just, I guess, for us to both reflect on that for a moment, because we set a bar for ourselves of expectations on how things should operate, that even though it feels like we haven't planned it much or like been super strategic, because the way that I just said that we're just going to record and do that doesn't sound like we have a plan, but it's way more planned out than if we didn't have that mentality. Does that make sense? Just because we're not like sitting down and it's not impeccably like detailed on paper and structured, that it feels that way to guys like us. But if you rewind to like, let's just say 4 years ago, I don't think this would have, not saying that it wouldn't have taken off or done anything, but it's just having a mentality. And like we were talking when we were talking about finances before we started, about how you have to create a new baseline, a new expectation of where you want to be.
Right.
And then once you hit that high, you got to make that high your new baseline.
Yeah. So 2 things that came to my mind when you were talking about that. The first one is my good friend and client, Nick, always says this to me. And I don't think that he created this term. I think it was just, brought down from other mentors and people, but life is a self-illuminating path. Life, business, relationships, self-illuminating path, right? The path gets shown to you as you walk it.
Yeah.
But if you don't walk it, nothing is going to happen, right?
Correct.
And then the second thing is that even though people may not acknowledge you for what you're doing, they still see it. Think about that. So I had a guy was like, I don't know this person. Like, they're not like a good friend. They're not like in my network. I don't communicate with them daily. But I was in the car with somebody else who does communicate with them. And he was like, hey, bro, man, I see what you're doing on Instagram with the podcast and all your content and stuff, man. Like, it's really good. The quality is amazing. It's powerful. The messaging is good. Like, keep doing what you're doing, right? But he's never commented or like said anything to me. Like, so he doesn't acknowledge it publicly. But behind scenes, people think like, oh, man, they're getting after it, So it does something for you.
It does do something.
Even though people won't tell you like, hey, bro, great job. That shit looks good. They're thinking it. And they're like, I wish I had the wherewithal to execute on stuff like that.
I have a something to follow that up because that's
Follow it up, and then we're going to get into our topic.
no problem. So there was a company, a detailing company. This is before I even picked up a mitt to get paid for a car. This was when I was thinking of it. This was right when pandemic was at its kind of like its peak, and I was at the country club, and I was thinking about starting something. And I was looking at specifically the South Florida detailers page, and I thought they were amazing. I mean, dude, their trailer wrap, I still think is one of the best. Their website's amazing. Two really young kids started the company, and I was just like, not jealous, but I was like, damn, these kids are like, either somebody got behind them with a lot of money and was like, here you go, bro, let's get you guys done right. Which I thought in my head that's what it is. But then now, like a couple years removed and realized what it is, maybe it was just them, because that's kind of what I strive for in my business, and my business kind of emulated what I saw, because it's like, that's what I would want it to be look like. And then come to find out, unfortunately, like, I don't think that they're doing as well as I thought, but they're that like, seeing that in my brain motivated me.
Yeah.
Like that there's social media and everything, and I never got a chance to meet them. I don't know if they're still detailing anymore, but I remember like what you said, you people don't notice, people might not be commenting, but like behind the scenes, it was something that like there's somebody that's you're motivating somebody.
Yep.
And I wish I could talk. Maybe I should reach out to those kids and be like, hey bro, let's get together because it worked out for me, and then you were kind of like a motivating factor. Let me help you out. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and that happened not just in detailing, but like in comedy, when I would see other comedians that weren't that funny, but their social media and what they presented, and they would find the clips where they did actually do well and they would post it. I was like, man, they're doing good. But then you would see them live and you're like, ooh. There's always people watching. And then there's certain people that do comment that are very openly supportive. There's people that hate. Either way, someone's watching, and that's very, very true. And you could actually be changing someone's life and you have no idea, just like that one company did for me, you know?
Yep. Great segue into our topic for the day, which is going to be giving. I just got assigned to through one of my coaches to read The Go-Giver, and then we started, going back and forth about the principle and the philosophy and all that stuff. So why don't you start off with just telling people, I don't know, what your perception of giving is and how it plays a role in your business and your everyday life. And then I'll kind of share my thoughts.
Okay. Giver's gain is like part of that's like the mantra of the business networking group that I'm in called BNI, in case some of you are on it. And the ones that are on it, you guys are probably jumping up and down because I'm mentioning it, because we get gun-ho about being in that group. And it's all about giving. You give a referral, that referral could turn into 100 referrals back to you. I also believe in the laws of the universe, that like everything there, it's 100% true in my eyes, in my experience, in my life. And what I believe is, dude, if you give, it always comes back. And obviously, like we also touched on last time, there's that feeling of lack. And then the more you feel lack, the more lack that you're going to experience. But when you sit in gratitude and you start like giving thanks, you're going to have more things to be thankful for, which is freaking crazy to me.
Right.
But there's been moments where I have like helped other people out and just not thinking about it, or not trying to do it for my ego, that like, let me do this grandiose thing so that I can have something come back to me. But you just do it out of just being a good person. And then you realize in hindsight what that return was from that investment, if you want to call it that.
Got a good ROI.
I got a good ROI. Should I talk about that thing that I showed you? The video, is that what we're getting into right now? Or are we going to?
No, yeah. Because I have no idea. You sent me it. I watched it, and I was like, man, there's got to be a deeper story behind this. He was like, yeah, save it for the podcast. So Lalo sent me a video. It was a young man who was looked like he had his own detailing company, and it looked like he was in the Northeast maybe, or somewhere not in Florida. I could tell by
He's like in the Jersey, Philly.
Yeah, I could tell by the foliage, the trees and stuff.
Yeah,
and yeah, it looked like he was running his own business, and he was thanking you for the experience and everything that you had given to him. And it was just really awesome. Like, people don't do that. That's another thing. If you want to stand out, Like, bro, send someone a voice message, a personalized gift, a video, whatever it is. Like, it just means so much more than just like a text message, you know. But tell us the story. That's another topic. But tell us the story behind the gentleman, the video, and because that ties into giving, I'm sure.
Okay. I'm gonna tell the story. Do me a favor if you want to set like a timer.
Sure.
So I don't go off.
How
too
long you
on
think, boss?
I don't know. Let's keep it on
For this specific story?
I would say 5 to 7 minutes in that
got it.
ballpark. All right. Cool.
We're rolling.
All right. So I'm gonna say his name and his company. I think his company, it might be Performance Auto Detailing, and he's now in Philly, in Jersey. They make that those two touch, right? Those two states.
I mean, yeah, they touch, but
I don't know.
yeah, Philly is close to like a lot of like the South Jersey towns.
So he moved. His wife got a job with Lockheed Martin. I don't know if that needs to be blurred out. Whatever. I know that's a big deal. And he was working for me. So this is how it all started. We both worked at a country club in Boynton. He was in the valet. I worked in the bag room, but then I moved on to the car wash, the car detail. I took over the car wash operations at this golf club because that's what I entered. Like I entered that industry. That was like my first big account. And him and I connected because he's the valet guy. So he would be the one that would bring us the cars that wanted to get washed. And I always saw him sprinting up and down the valet. And it's like at a hill. I know we're in Florida, but they did beautiful plantation looking house at the top of a hill with the big bush.
Yeah, country clubs always have that
it's
stuff.
Fancy. Now, this is a private club with like, I'm talking like people that are at the top of the top.
Yeah.
Like the 1% of the 1%, like people with that kind of money.
Yeah.
So there was a, reputation and just, you had to be very professional. And this kid was just like he hit every box. He would bust his ass. He would just sprint down. I've seen him fall they called him Mantis. He's still really skinny. I called him my lizard. Eventually I'll tell you why I called him the lizard. He just didn't drink any water, and I would be feeling like I was going to die. And then his kid would not drink any water, wouldn't do anything. He would just work. And I'm like, damn, it's crazy. Cause like literally no water, this kid would survive.
Yeah. That's not good.
I know,
Not healthy.
But
Daily reminder to get your water
But he
in.
mentioned it in the text message. I'll tell you about. Let me just tie it all in. So, when summer comes, these jobs typically all those people go up north to their northern country clubs, their houses. So snowbirds. It slows down. And he was looking for work, and he loves cars. That's his thing. He loves working on cars. He looks airsoft, paintballing. Like those are his two things, and music. He's a sax player. And he told me, he's like, hey, I'm looking to stay busy during the summer. If you have any opportunities, let me know. So I started bringing him with me to detail. And kid did a great job. He was a nice kid. He was young. I think he was 20 at the time when he started working with me. And when I joined BNI, which this also ties into that's something that was huge for my business. Like that helped me really get to like a next level in my business where I had to buy a trailer. I had to bring him on full time because so much business was coming in from joining this group. And we got busy. So when we would drive, and I was really going through, and I still am, it's always going to be for the rest of my life, but I entered a new mentality where I wanted to consume a lot of knowledge on how to get better as a human in general, not just in business, finances, love, but like also like just as a person, loving people and stuff.
Smart, yeah.
And there was just, I love also talking about those things. So I would literally just all day while we're driving around, would just tell him like, look, no one's going to come save us. There's not like, I would ask him questions that I would think about growing up. I'm like, because sometimes there's people, and some of you listening, you might be feeling this way right now. You think that you're going to be a millionaire one day, right? You think that one day you're going to be famous, right? You think that one day you're going to live in a mansion. But like we always think these things are like, oh, it's going to be nice once I'm rich. But there's no game plan for it. Like you're not going to become rich working at a job that's paying you hourly. You're not going to become rich at a job that has a cap on how much money you're going to make. And we don't know that until we break away from that and we take control of our own lives. So I was telling him all of these things. I'm like, I felt like I was waking up, and I was trying to get him to wake up too. I was reading like Rich Dad, Poor Dad at the time, Think and Grow Rich, all these books that like really kind of like light a spark under your ass. Like especially people that have an entrepreneurial dude, help me out with that word. Entrepreneurial. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
Hispanic, guys. This is my second language. All right? Entrepreneur. And so I got like, when you consume that stuff, you get like this sense of elation. I feel like that happens to me every time I start a new book. I just want to tell the world because I want everyone else to feel what I'm feeling because it helps. It's getting me to where I am and where I'm continuing to grow to. So I would always just tell him, it's like, dude, don't sell yourself short. Like, I know it's contradicting because you're working for me and I'm paying you, but just don't. This is not a job that you're going to work at forever. I don't want you to work for me forever. I want you to learn as much as possible from me and then take whatever I can give you and then just apply it to your life. Fast forward to his wife getting a job, and obviously she got a very generous offer. And I didn't really know much about Lockheed Martin. I'm starting to find out now that they're it's some heavy duty shit that they work on. And so they moved them up north, and he went up there with no preparation, no job or anything. And then I called him just to check in on him, and he told me that he started working for Amazon, like as a delivery driver. And I still felt like I was not his boss, but like kind of like a big brother to him or someone. I got upset with him, but not like in like yelling at him. But I was just like, dude, you just sat next to me for the last couple of months and me telling you you watched me go from working out of the back of my trunk with you in my car to having a trailer, having a maintenance client list and everything. Is like, you can do it too. Go in like, you have all the equipment. Most of you right now, not that you guys want to start a detailing business, but almost everybody that is going to listen to this has a bucket in their garage. They have a mitt, they have car soap, and they have a towel. That's all you need to wash a car.
Yeah.
So I was telling him that. I'm like, why not do what you were doing down here? You're really good at it. You learn all the products I use. Join a BNI group up there. That's going to help you get a client base. Like, I didn't join a BNI group till like a year after I started my business. If I joined earlier, things would have been different. I'm like, get in a BNI group, start this. And I kind of just drilled into him that you're going to work for Amazon. He's like, yeah, I'm just going to work for them until I kind of build up this. I'm like, no, because Amazon's going to give you enough money to where you're going to be making just the right amount of money it's going to take away your motivation to try to make your own money. That's what happens to us. It's like a drug that they give you. And not to get too deep into that, but when you get a job that's paying you good enough money to where your bills are met, and then you have a little bit more to like get yourself something that you want, it's like a drug, man. That's all you need. And then I'm cool at this job.
Yeah.
Then it takes away it's almost like getting neutered. You don't have to look elsewhere for more money. So I had that conversation with him again. And time's up. I can't tell the story anymore. I'm just kidding. So fast forward. He's like, all right, man, I think you're right. He started his detailing business and he joined a BNI group. He's still wearing the same shirts, which is funny because as he's sending me the video, I'm noticing that he's wearing my
your shirt. Okay.
And then his employee's also wearing it, my other shirt that I gave him. But whatever, that's fine. Maybe I'll turn into a franchise and tell him to start sending me 20%. I'm just kidding, Evan. I love you. But he started his business now. He's got a maintenance list. He's got an employee. He's about to get a trailer. And business is booming. And he sent me a video out of nowhere, which like made me happy. I got teary-eyed. I really did, because that meant a lot to me. And he's not the only person that I've kind of motivated in this way. And the fact that I've had at least 3 people do this, like where they kind of like, I helped them kind of believe in themselves. Cause that's, I think that was my thing. It's like, I want people to believe in themselves. I don't know why that I have such a burning desire to help people do that. I just think that everyone deserves to believe in themselves. Yeah. Because it's so important. And I helped him believe in himself. And he thanked me in this video. And I don't know if maybe we can post it at some point, but you'll see what he says. He's just like, he's like, despite me playing solitaire on my phone while driving next to you and not drinking water or whatever, like I did listen to you. And now I have an employee. Now I have, clients. Now, I'm growing in this business. So thank you for all of those things. Dude, that made me so happy for him, but also like happy that it didn't go like it
falls upon deaf ears.
Yeah, and even if it did, whatever.
Right.
But just kind of like that's not, I'm not benefiting it from him doing that up there. Maybe I am somehow, but like, fuck, man, you just gotta like, just whatever knowledge you have, whatever thing that you feel you can share to other people, something that like helped you, do it, because you have no idea how life-changing that could be for somebody else.
Yeah.
So if you have something, a desire, or you have a skill, or you feel like you have like knowledge that you can share with people around you, even if they're not really your friends or people that you barely know, just share it, man. Just share it. And the universe will work itself out. It'll, whatever will come from it will come from it, man. And that's my story. And I have more. I mean, I don't have to go into it, but like my best friend is kind of on the same journey. And the guy that Izzy, the guy that you see in all the videos, or that works with me.
Yeah.
Same thing. His life's different than it was when we first started. And it's because like I just feel like we're in a generation where not enough of that is happening.
Right.
And or maybe enough of it is happening and we just don't know about it. But that's one of my missions in this life, is not just to help myself grow financially, spiritually, but just like other people, man. If I benefit from all this, it's just me. It's like, why not the whole world fucking achieving their dreams? Why not every single person on this planet gets a fucking chance to go for it, you know? Imagine that. Imagine if everyone on this planet did everything that they wanted to do. What a fucking beautiful thing it would be, you know?
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you guys for listening to that. That's like, you know, I can go on for a long time and talking about this subject, but thank you. I think that was like 10 minutes. So
Yeah, it's okay. Well done. Well done. Oh, the only way to keep what you have is to give it away.
wow.
Yeah. So there we go. If you want to keep what you have, keep giving it away. So, and I like took that and applied it into like certain areas of my life. Our industry is very like the video production, photography stuff. Back early, like years and years ago, it was like if people had success and they were doing things that were working well for them, they kept it like close to the chest. Like they wouldn't share their secrets, right? Or their trade secrets or whatever was working, or however they were making money. But now we're in such a different time. And I've applied this too, that like people ask me like, oh, how did you get this shot? Or how did you set up your camera? How did you, like, I'll just give it all away. Like tell everybody everything, you know, like I don't, there's no benefit of me not telling, right? The only I'll benefit from, sharing the value and giving value to people, you know? But, yeah, I mean, as far as like giving goes, I mean, they, you know, raised religiously, they always teach you to give, you know, like, you know, you're donating money in church or whatever it is, your time. That was always like instilled in me, as a child. But I think now that I'm operating the business, I'm learning that you have to give more if you want to receive. You know, the other day I was coming out of Walmart and, you know, there was people who were raising money for something. You know, when somebody comes up to you and they have a little piece of paper, it's laminated, and they're like, can I have a moment of your time? You're like, oh, here we fucking go. What are they going to ask from me? What are they going to ask from me for now? You know? And normally, like, if I was like working my full-time job and I was like rushing around, like, I'd be like, oh, like, sorry, you know, I just get in my car. But because I'm like the creator of my life right now, and I'm designing my days, I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hear what this lady has to say. And she was like, her English was not good, but like, I'm standing with my bags of groceries. I'm fucking sweating. It's hot out. And she's like, oh, if you come over here to this iPad, I can like show you more. And I'm like, okay, let me put this in the car. You know, so I went over there. Yeah, and it turns out that like it's like the CARE Foundation, something of that nature, and you know they help raise money to build schools and, you know, feed and house and give water to kids in an area that don't have it, you know. And she's like, think about it. Think about like the education and the opportunities that your kids have here. Like these kids don't have any of that. Yeah. And I'm like, yeah, like I understand that. Like I understand that we're very fortunate to have what we have and to be, you know, born into this land of opportunity, you know, that so many people come to. And, you know, so I was just like, I just heard her out, you know, and it turns out that like there's this thing with the business that you can donate yearly. And, you know, anytime you donate money to a nonprofit, it's tax deductible anyway. Yeah. So it's just like, yeah, why not? You know, so I donated the money. They were super excited. They took a picture of me and put it in the group chat. They're asking me about the business, the video production. I'm like, yeah, like if look, I support what you guys are doing. If there's anything I can do to help you, so like I just gave them money, and then I'm also like, hey, if you guys ever need like video work or like to tell stories to get your organization's reach out, like I'll message you on Instagram, and like I can connect with someone in the marketing department. So like those are things that pay back, tenfold, right?
Yeah.
But then, I got home and yeah, my wife was like, why would you do that? Like, it's too much. Like, we don't have it right now. I said, well, we like, if you think like that, then we never have it, And I said, you have to give to receive, And then I always have like some clients in the pipeline, like I'm sure you have this experience, right? Where you'll send an invoice, or I don't know if your clients like pay beforehand for like the bigger services, but like you send an invoice or whatever, but the job, you can't count that money until they actually process or they pay the credit card, right? Yep. Just because you send an invoice
doesn't mean
or you send a proposal, it doesn't mean that the money is in your bank, right? So I sent out this client the invoice. I hadn't heard from him, made the donation, had the conversation with my wife, and then the next morning, boom, the credit card was processed and the order was fulfilled. Yeah. So yeah, and in the last episode we were talking about, like when things are tough, like sit in moments of gratitude. I don't know, I feel like a lot of times in my life I just do the opposite of what I want to do, when it comes to like giving and stuff like that. Like, cause I wouldn't have had normally entertained a conversation with a lady like that who was trying to get donations outside of the Walmart. Like, I just got groceries and shit. I just want to go home, but something was just like, it was just like something else took over that like wasn't, it was like greater than me.
Dude,
it's like my body's here. And then like, I'm just like,
do I do the thing that we always do to these people? Fuck it. Let's see what happens.
Yeah.
When you're in a video game and it says like, let this character talk, or, hear him out, or go and run him over. And you're like, you know what? Let's choose the answer that we don't know. Yeah. You just, is it still if it's still good karma if you're donating to a scam though?
Yeah.
Because you never know nowadays. I'm just saying. I'm not saying that there. I haven't looked into it. It's unfair for me to say, but it's just in my head. I thought about it.
No, I mean, there's validity to that. But
it still is, because your intention was to be helpful.
Yeah. And they give you a presentation before you donate that, like
nice,
showing the website. So it makes sense. But even like beyond that, right? Like business stuff with like, I have similar situations, not as intense as what you shared about the video, but like if any young guys, not even young, if any guys are like, if they like take the time to reach out to me and say like, hey man, I'm looking to learn more, like I just want to come on a job. I want to like watch you work, whatever. And that happens a lot like in this space. Cause, and I do it too. If I find someone who's above where I'm at, I reach out to them. Hey, like I'd love to just like work as an assistant for you one day, or take behind the scenes photos or whatever it is, just to get into their ecosystem. Yeah. Right. So, and like, I'll do that a lot. And then when people come to me and they're like, yeah, like I can do it. Like I always try to everything I can to like, to give them that opportunity. Right. Because I never had that opportunity.
Right.
So, and then, even people will like ask to borrow cameras or ask to borrow this or that. Like, oh, how much do you want? It's like, nothing, just take it, go do your thing. Like any way that I can be, a vessel to help someone else further themselves. I try to take the opportunity. Right. So, yeah, I mean, I don't really know what else I can share about giving.
You do that with me all the time, bro.
What do you mean?
Like when we come here, and I know it might not be like anything crazy to you, but like the videos that you make while we're here, I just think you're just recording things, and next thing you know, like an hour later, you send us this amazing reel that looks like you had like a whole production fucking set up out there, but it was just you with your that blows my mind. And that's an example of it. You don't even know
that's a good point. That's a good point too. That's a good point too, because I think like that could be like over delivering. Like if you have a client or a job or something that you're working with, and they paid you for X amount of deliverables, but like you go that little extra mile, I would consider that giving too. And I think that just sets you apart from everyone else. Right. So like, I did a job, this was years ago, for a hair salon, and they were like, oh, we just need photos, And I was like, okay. But then like I sneakily like had my other guy doing video, and like we delivered the photos and then delivered them an awesome like video too, and they were like blown away. So that's an example of giving, I would think too. I mean, they are paying you for a service, but then you're taking that opportunity and you're like, well, I'm here. What else can I do that would make this client experience unforgettable, right?
Yeah.
Or just over deliver on the value.
That's awesome, man.
Yeah.
You're really opening my eyes up to a lot of things too that I do that I don't know that I was doing.
Yeah.
Which is fucking
My one buddy who's on my other podcast has a pressure washing company, right? And he was doing someone's pavers, and like he noticed that these shades on the lawn chairs were all dirty, and he cleaned them up. And then all of a sudden he's got like 3 other jobs because he took that one little thing. It took him 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Right? It's just like, think different, you know?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Because there are things that you can give. Like, for example, in mine, like when what I do, I clean cars and do ceramic coatings. There's things that the clients have no idea about on their car. I'll fix it. I'll make it right. If I tell them, they won't, if I don't tell them, they won't notice. If I left it alone, they won't notice. But I just do it. There's certain
You have
things
to tell them.
I sometimes don't, because it's like, well, hey, say good job to me. Like, I just feel weird. I'm like, just
nah, you just casually add in there like, hey man, I noticed this was broken too. Like I took care of it for you. Like
I have sometimes just things like that, but there's things that I just kind of, because it's like, I don't know, you have a certain expectation of like your job and the results that you do.
Yeah.
That it's almost like a standard now. It's ingrained in me that like if there's something that I can fix that's really not taking a lot of my time or my products or my skills, and I could just do it, whether the client's going to notice or not, just do it, because it's going to feel better than if like, what if they notice it and then they think also like, man, you couldn't have done that. You know what I mean? Like, I love talking about this, Andrew. Thank you.
Yeah, this is a good topic. I think not a lot of people just need to get out of their own way sometimes and stop being so selfish and self-centered, and just stop worrying about themselves and what can I get and what can I gain, right? That's the shift. And it took me a while to like internalize that and really move forward with it. But until you stop worrying about yourself, and like put other people's needs before you, it will be less likely that you'll grow and change,
Yeah, I think it's law.
Yeah.
I think it's a universal law. In order for you to want to get another client, you have to make room for that client to come in.
Yeah. Let's challenge the listeners to something. Maybe give them something that you've done in your life that maybe they can do, right? In a giving sense, not for any other metric, but just to, put this into the atmosphere. Like, not like for a monetary gain or like whatever it is, but like something little that they could do like in their life to just like, because this is like a snowball thing, right? Like if they start doing one little thing here and there, then like, it starts to.
So I did something. This reminded me of it. I don't want no one knows about it besides the lady. So a lady recently, like on Facebook, she's going through some health issues, right? And like, I think her mom just passed away. Now she's going through health issues. And then she was looking for shoes. That's going to make me maybe a little emotional, but she wanted shoes for her son. Her son wanted to buy some shoes. He's in middle school or something. Mm-hmm. And he was going to sell like one of his video games. And like, that reminded me of me when I was younger, how important video games are to me,
Yeah.
And I know what it would be like to have to give up something so I can have like a nice pair of shoes to be around my friends, because maybe he was I don't know what the situation was. And then I saw some lady on there saying, what size shoe is here, and tell me what shoe he wants.
Where was this?
This was on Facebook. And
okay.
I never met this lady.
Yeah.
Like, it's just someone that just
Friend
followed me from comedy.
Yeah.
Like I've had random people that, like, when I started comedy, so many people just added me from shows. So I never got to personally meet them, but I just became friends with them so that eventually they can come to my shows. But I saw that interaction, and I sent her money without, I was just like, just send it. Cause I have that. Like, I can do it,
Yeah.
And then I saw all these people commenting in that thing, and then they're just like sending them stuff to help them. So next time you see someone that's like a legitimate, like, I don't want to say there's illegitimate people, because unfortunately, well, we talked about the industry of like recovery. Sometimes there's people that will say that they're sick and they need help for something, but they're just collecting money so that they can go use it for other
Yeah.
things. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
if you have that kind of, I guess, friend base. But anyway, just help someone out.
Yeah.
Even if no one's asking for it, if you know someone that's struggling, or if you know that certain words would like mean something to a person, or do this. You know what? I'm challenging you right now, dude. Zoom in into my face on this video if you can. You know that one person that when they post something, you kind of hate on them? You know what? Turn it around and leave an actual like positive comment, or send them a note just encouraging them to keep doing what they're doing. That one person that bothers you because you're secretly kind of jealous that they're succeeding at something that maybe you wanted to do, and you feel that maybe they don't deserve it, but the reality of it is they do. Send them something and see what happens to you after you do that, and the liberating feeling that you're going to get.
I love that. Okay, so you have an assignment from Lalo. Here's your assignment from me, your challenge. This is super simple. And I do this sometimes just because of the way it makes me feel, right? These are tiny things, right? Tiny things. They don't have to be monumental. This is just something small, right? Next day, the next garbage day that you have, bring in your neighbor's garbage cans, okay? Bring in your neighbor's garbage cans. All right, everyone, that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you so much for listening and tuning in, and we'll see you in the next one.
Leave your ego at the door. Love you guys.
Peace.